Best client and worst client.
Oh.
In your opinion, who's your favorite? Hey guys, I'm Daphne here.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
And we're Tofu Design, and welcome back to our channel and welcome to our home. Today we will be answering some frequently asked questions, things like how we started and, how do we deal with imposter syndrome and, all that kind of common problems, right? So, stick around, grab a snack and just join us as we chat about this. Okay, so let's start with the first question, which is our origin story. So, people often ask us like, how did we start, and what got us into it. So, basically, like long story short, right? I started as a copywriter, and Daniel, on the other hand, started.
I was a business student. I was actually in my last semester in college, and halfway down, I just decided that the thesis was kind of getting too tedious and hard, so I just dropped it. And at the same time, my friend actually taught me Photoshop at that time, so I just kind of picked it up, watched some YouTube tutorials, whatever they have at that time, and started doing simple projects.
That was like 7 years ago, I think. The origin of Tofu is in 2018 we decided to start to work together. Basically, like we decided to start this because our skills were very complementary. Like sometimes your clients will ask you like, do you have any writers? And then you ask me, and then some of my clients will ask if I have any designers, and then I'll look for him. So we're like, why not just do this thing together? And that's how Tofu started. The other question we always get asked is, what is it like working with your spouse? So if you didn't already know, like we are both married, so and we started this even while we were together. So what is it like working with your spouse? What is it like?
What's it like? It's been good so far, I guess. What's it like for you?
I feel like it's not different from having any other like partnership, right? Like, I guess like a lot of times people ask us like, how do you separate work and personal life? Because we work at home. So, and we work together at home. So like 24/7 we are together. So how do we deal with that, right? I think, how they say like when you want to find a work partner, it's almost like finding a marriage partner, that kind. So in that sense, like,
we took it literally.
And thankfully it worked out because we just have very open like communication, and somehow we managed to separate the work and the personal thing. Like we try not to like get into arguments and bringing like, that thing you did at work today, like to a personal argument, or like a personal argument brought into like a work argument. Like we don't really do that. So that helps a lot. Yeah,
and sometimes it's like kind of we have no choice, because like this is basically like our bread and butter, so we better make it work. So
and at the start as well, like we had trouble with defining our roles. We would think that we're both have equal stake in this company, so like we both should be we should have like similar roles in that sense. But once we define this and we made sure that, okay, so-called this is design is your department, etc. is my department, then it was just clearer that way. So the next question is, what's your day-to-day like? What does your day look like?
I wake up at 3 a.m. every day. Sometimes 4 when it's like late day.
Stupid.
I kind of got this habit because I joined, both of us actually joined like this silent retreat called Vipassana. So it was a 10-day silent retreat in some wilderness somewhere.
For those who don't know, what is silence?
So basically in this retreat you can't talk to anyone. You kind of just sit down and meditate like 10 hours a day. In total.
Is it? Something
Yeah,
like
10
that.
hours in total. I think so. Yeah, I kind of just picked it up ever
Yeah.
since, and that's why I wake up at 3 a.m. every day now. Yeah.
How many hours do you think you work?
Wow. It's a big spectrum. Sometimes like maybe 6. Sometimes like I don't know 15.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just on very rare days. Yeah. But yeah, doesn't mean it's the most productive. But like those were long working days. Yeah.
Next one is, what's the self-taught journey like? So yeah, like we said earlier, right? Like we didn't really study UI UX or anything like that. So yeah, what's your self-taught journey like?
What's my self-taught journey? I mean, even before getting into design, I have always like Google stuff whenever I have questions, and whenever I need to learn something. YouTube is always the place to go. Yeah, because like I don't really have any like education backing in terms of design in the early years, so I don't really have any guide. I would actually see that as a blessing, because like how I feel like I have nothing to lose, and I can just try anything I want.
But do you feel like not having the education was helpful or unhelpful?
Generally it's like it did help me, and it did kind of gel with who I am as a person, because like I'm an inquisitive kind of guy, and whenever I'm not sure about something, I just find what ways I can to just like learn.
Were you ever insecure that you didn't have an education?
Because at that time UI UX was like very new, right? So yeah, like I didn't particularly feel like insecure, but in terms of like design, I guess like whether or not I'm saying like the wrong terms sometimes,
Like, so basically it's like the good part is how it doesn't limit you, because like you weren't like drilled into any sort of rules, right? Like going to design school, you might learn all these kind of like different rules in composition, that kind of stuff. But because it was so raw for you, then you felt like you just could do anything, because you don't even know what rules you're breaking, that kind of thing, right?
Correct.
But on the flip side, it's like the insecurity of not having enough validation, right?
Yeah. Like how I kind of validate myself, okay, because in the start, you don't really have any clients to tell you whether this is good or bad. So what I'll do is I'll just like go to Pinterest, I'll just like pick some, things like graphics or like UI UX that actually look good to me, and I will just try to, copy them, meaning that at the end of the day, how I know whether it's good or not is how close I am to look like that. Even if it doesn't look the same, it should make me feel the same way. That's how I get that sense of validation.
So like Dan was just telling me today that, well, this week that he's been having like creative blocks. So yeah, you want to share a bit about that, like how you're dealing with it? And
creative blocks, I think it happens to most I think all designers, because like for me it happens like almost on a daily basis, like all the time. I guess like creative block happens when you don't feel like you're in a flow. You kind of just like broke out of that rhythm, and you feel that everything you're doing is like either wrong, or it's just like so much harder to get something that seems right. A lot of it is like happening internally, and I feel that sometimes like we always think that it's a creative block, and you have to solve it like in a creative way or something like that. But actually I believe that it is very tightly linked with like your daily life and your daily thoughts, and basically your how do you feel on a day-to-day basis. So once you feel good, basically everything seems like it's easy to achieve.
yeah, for me, it's I will always just stop what I'm doing, and then I will just do something else, like do something that's totally like unrelated to it, just so that I stop thinking about it, and then it helps to just freshen your mind a little bit, so that because when you're in a block, right, like everything's kind of tangled, and you can't like like, you know, when you tangle your wires, right? Like, you can't just like try and rip it apart. Like, you need to take time to like slowly untangle it. So like, instead of like doing it at that state of mind where you're like just so frustrated, you just like leave it there and come back. When you're calmer, maybe it will untangle slowly. So that's kind of how I approach my creative blocks. And I think the other thing that a lot of creatives might experience will be like imposter syndrome and also a lot of self-doubt. Yeah, like imposter syndrome at the very start, I felt that a lot because it's like, you know, when you have to talk to clients, you're like, I'm nobody. Like, how do I like talk to these people and ask them for money and pay us for a service, that kind of thing. Like, it's so difficult to do that, especially like most of us creatives are all introverts, right? So like, it's so difficult. But I would say like, if for imposter syndrome, it's like how I deal with it is just like gotta just bulldoze past it and just forget it, just do it, just keep doing it, and just not really think about it too much. What about you? How do you deal with your self-doubt?
Like even like right now, even today, I'm still feeling like imposter syndrome, because like it's actually an unending journey where you are just constantly like trying to just
Validate
yourself and, you know, trying to just get a grip of it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, for you guys out there, it's like it is kind of a never-ending journey. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just about finding a way to like kind of deal with it the best for yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, because like a lot of you, like sometimes you'll leave comments like, oh, I want to be at your level. But yeah, okay, like it doesn't mean that these things go away. Like it still haunts you on a different scale now, you know. So it never goes away, and that is that whole journey from where you are now to where you want to be. That whole stretch, on top of learning your technical skills, you're learning to deal with these situations. And just know you're not alone. All of us feel it. No matter where we are, we feel it. But everyone has a different way of dealing with it. So there's no way for us to really say what's the best way. You just gotta find it yourself. One of the most common question that people ask is how or where do you find clients? Like, where, as a freelancer, like where do you even begin looking for clients? So for us, we thankfully not have to do that. But I will say though that you should focus on your portfolio, because that's how we got our clients. We'll probably talk about portfolio in another video, but if you are at that point right now and you have your portfolio already and all that stuff, maybe the best way you can do is just cold email these potential clients that you want to reach out and see where it goes, really. There's really no shortcut, unfortunately.
Did you find your first clients separately?
Mine was like just a coincidence, because like so happened the person that I was selling my car to at the time kind of like had an auntie who kind of needs, you know, some kind of design for like, you know, a charity logo. So that's kind of how I just started doing something related to design. Then kind of the next thing, this person recommend like another lady who needed like some ang pao designs. So yeah, from there it just snowballed. And yeah, it didn't snowball like, you know, now I'm big time or anything like that, but yeah, it just kind of filled in all the gaps of clients and
Created momentum.
Yeah, created momentum. And the time that I had between each of these projects, of course, is spent on like portfolio and just learning new stuff, so that I know I can, you know, use it for the next project or something. So
Okay, I think last question will be best client and worst client. In your opinion, who's your favorite? I mean, okay, without naming names, like best experience. I think like for me, like what makes a good client, the best experience we've had will be, with clients who are very supportive, very cooperative and collaborative, and clients who seem to understand our pains as designers, meaning like they will try to explain feedback very clearly to try and like communicate like certain ideas that they have to us, whichever way that they know how to, because sometimes we understand that it's not easy to communicate like design or visual ideas, but when they meet us halfway, that's what we appreciate, and we will typically find that as a plus. So yeah, and it's most of the best clients that we know and we have are also people that we think we could be friends with in real life.
Yeah.
So that's what made the experience good.
That, and yeah, I mean, to add on, just like clients who give like clarity into like what we are trying to achieve, and also best if like the goalposts don't move halfway.
Yeah. What about our worst client? We thankfully don't have that many, but I do have one experience where like it has seared into my brain, and like I remember being really traumatized. I mean, it's not that bad, but I was like super anxious whenever I get like their Slack message at that time, like because I did not know what to expect from them. Like what happened with their client basically is that they were not willing to communicate like what they wanted and what they were looking for. Like they gave me a semblance of that, like we'd hop on calls and try to figure things out, and then I will try to like, okay, I'll confirm that this is what you want to do. And then when we actually do it, they're like, you know what, that's not what we're looking for. And then if I ask them a little bit more questions, they'll be like, you guys are the expert, why don't you go and figure it out? But I'm like, I need to know these things. I'm not asking you to tell me like what color I should use. I'm just asking you why this is not working. And they won't they won't communicate that to me. And then they ghosted me for like a month, I think. And then I was like, hey guys, like if you don't reply now, according to our contract, this is off. And then they wanted to resume after like 1 month or something. And then I'm like, sorry, we tried, this is not working out. But that was really bad because like it was just a lot of uncertainty. So try not to end up in that kind of situation.
Yeah. It's bad when every time like after a meeting you feel like you are more confused than clear.
Yeah,
so
that happens.
Yeah, every time we think that we are moving like a step ahead, we are actually like moving 2 steps back. So it felt like we weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, for like the longest time we were on that same like, I don't know, logo or something. Like we pushed so hard and like nothing was sticking. So yeah, that was really bad. So yeah, that's probably the worst client. Yep. All right, so that's all the time we have today. I hope you found this insightful, and if anything, you're not alone on this journey. We are also on this whole weird road together. But yeah, if you related to any of these things that we've shared, you can leave your stories in the comments, or you can also leave any further questions that you have for us. We can do more of this next time if we have enough questions. And I guess we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.